Then I took a taxi and had to borrow some money from the porter to pay for it. I still had a £1 note in my wallet for emergencies. They gave me a key to a bedroom. It was in a courtyard that I reached by a tunnel under the road. I imagined what kind of student lived there normally. I pictured someone called Tony with a beard and a duffel coat. I tried really hard to like the room and the college that was going to be mine. I imagined bicycling off to lectures in the early morning with my books balanced on a rack over the back wheel. I'd be shouting out to the other guys, "See you there!" I'd probably smoke a pipe. I'd also probably have a girlfriend, some quite stern grammar school girl with glasses, who wouldn't be to everyone's taste. In fact, I didn't like the room I was in that night. It was damp, it was small, and it felt as though too many people had been through it. It didn't seem old enough. It didn't seem 17th century or modern. It was more like 1955. Also, there was no bathroom. I found one up the stairs. It was very cold and I had to stay dressed until the bath was run. The water itself was very hot. Everything in the room and on the stairs smelt slightly of gas and lino. I slept fine, but I didn't want to have breakfast in the dining hall because of having to talk to the other candidates. I went along the street and found a cafe and had weak coffee and a sausage roll, which I paid for from my spare £1. I re-entered the college by the main gate. The porter was sullen in his damp lodge with a paraffin heater. "G12, Dr. Woodrow's rooms," he said. I found it all right, and there was another boy waiting outside. He looked clever. Eventually, the door opened and it was my turn. There were 2 of them in there. A big schoolmasterly man who showed me to a chair, then sat down at a desk, and a younger, thin man with a beard who didn't get up from his armchair. Teachers at my school didn't have beards. "You wrote well on Shakespeare. Do you visit the theatre a good deal?" This was the big one talking. It sounded too much like an ordinary conversation to be an interview. I suspected a trap. I told him there wasn't a theatre where we lived. In Reading. I was watching him all the time. How grand! To be a doctor of whatever and to weigh up and decide people's futures. I'd once seen a set of table mats in a shop which had pictures of men in different academic gowns, Doctor of Divinity, Master of Arts, and so on. But this was the first real one I'd seen. He asked me a few more things, none of them interesting. The poetry of Eliot. Would you care to make a comparison between Eliot and Lawrence? This was the younger one, and it was his first contribution. I thought he must be joking. An American banker interested in the rhythms of the Anglican liturgy, and a pitman's son who wanted to escape from Nottingham, maybe via sex or by his crude paintings. Compare them? I looked at him carefully, but he showed no sign of humour, so I gave an answer about their use of verse forms, trying to make it sound as though it had been a reasonable question. He nodded a few times and looked relieved. He didn't follow it up. The big one leafed through my papers again. "Your personal report," he said at last, "from your teacher. Did you have difficulties with him?" I hadn't been aware of any, I said. "Is there anything you'd like to ask us about life in college? We try to make everyone feel welcome." It seemed wrong not to ask something. It might look as though I didn't care. But I couldn't ask any of the things I really wanted to know. In the silence, we heard the college clock chime the half-hour. I felt them both looking at me. Then I felt a trickle of sweat on my spine. I hardly ever sweat normally, and it gave me an idea. "What's the thing with laundry?" "What?" said the big one gruffly. "Do you have, well, like washing machines? Is it done centrally, or do I take it somewhere, or what?" "Gerald?" "I'm not quite sure," said the younger one. "Each undergraduate is assigned a moral tutor," said the schoolmasterly one. "A fellow of the college who can help you with all your personal and health questions." "So he'd be the one to ask?" Yes, I imagine so." I thought that now I'd broken the ice, it might be good to ask another question. "What about money?" I said. "What?" "How much money will I need?" "I imagine your local authority will provide a grant. It's up to you how you spend it. Do you have questions about the work?" "No, I read the prospectus." "Do you find the idea of Chaucer daunting?" "No, I like Chaucer." Yes, I can see that.